This video is going to help you if you have a tendency to listen to people's advice and then get disappointed, shot down, run down, judged, criticized, or just confused because what they told you didn't really work or doesn't feel right. My name is Adam. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Before we get started, I just want to let you know I'm doing free breakthrough calls. These are amazing 30-minute calls where we go over your vision for your life, your purpose, what's stopping you from really embracing it, and if you've already created the life that you want, what's stopping you from enjoying it, and then some steps you can take to find peace, serenity, and joy in all areas. We all know we got to stop listening and caring about what other people think, but mostly it's very hard for us to do. It's very hard for us to do. Why? Well, I feel like there's a few reasons, but one of the main ones is we're social creatures. Humans are social creatures. And I feel like even if you go back to the caveman days, there were probably a lot of times that we were told not to do something and then we did it and we got killed. So there's in our DNA, there's this sort of like, we got to listen to the tribe, we got to listen to the group sort of thing. We also came from, I suppose, tribes that were a little more put together than we are now. Like back in, maybe the Native American indigenous days, there was an integrity to the group. There was an alignment. There was a connection to spirit. The elders actually knew something. And so it was probably somewhat wise to listen to them. In the world we live in today, this really isn't the case. Basically, most people are a walking, speaking, breathing trauma ball. They're just trauma balls, and that's okay. They're not bad. It's not anything to judge. It's just to understand when you go to get advice from them, what they're going to do is pretty much just brain fart their trauma all over you and ultimately either confuse you or stop you from doing what you know you want to do. I see this all the time with clients who are afraid to pursue what they really want because of the programming they received from childhood. What happens is when somebody is in a lot of trauma and you go to do something different than them that has a higher frequency than them, meaning it's more in integrity, it's more in alignment, it has more joy to it, a couple things happen. One, their trauma gets activated and they project their belief system onto you if they care about you, and they try to help you by telling you don't do that because they tried to do that and they couldn't do that. Okay, that's still incorrect, but at least that comes from a place of some kind of concern and care. It's not an informed concern, it's not accurate, but there is some level of care there. One of the other things that happens though, if they're a little bit more narcissistic than that, they're a little bit darker than that, they're a little bit less compassionate than that, when they see you doing something that has a higher frequency than what they've been able to do, they will get jealous, they will get angry, they will get bitter, and they will attack you for it. They will get triggered by the frequency that you're just trying to call in because it's raising their frequency, activating their trauma, and then they project onto you. They tell you not to do it. They give you the reasons not to do it. They warn you not to do it. They judge you. They criticize you. They put you down because they don't want you to rise above them. They don't want to see somebody go forth and be successful because that makes them feel like a failure. That ultimately isn't really about you, it's about them. But we have a tendency to listen to these people because they're family members, because sometimes they're teachers, sometimes they're guides, sometimes they're spiritual guides, and we're so unsure of ourselves because of our own trauma. So the answer to this is to step back and heal yourself and stop listening to people that don't support your dreams or your vision. Because if you do listen to them and they're like shitting on what you want to do, or they're condemning it and putting it down, and you don't do it, you're going to hate yourself. You're going to be silently resentful at them. What you're basically doing is giving them permission to stop you so that you can then blame them for stopping you when ultimately it was your doubt and insecurity that took it on. Now, this is tricky when we're children, because when we're children, we just believe the adults know everything. One, because we're super impressionable, and two, because it just makes sense that these people were older, they've been here longer, they must know something. Well, generally, they don't. They don't know anything. Some of them do, of course, but mostly the collective consensus has been in such a deep level of trauma that all we really do is pass that around to each other. Another place you want to look out for this for is online. Okay, now I have a YouTube channel. There's a lot of really great people that are out there who write books and speak and have channels and offer guidance. I'm not saying you can't listen to anybody. You can, but the majority of what people are doing is literally talking out loud to themselves. We teach what we need to know. Everybody is out there basically telling you what it is that they need to hear and learn. Now, that may resonate with you. Now, they may have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, and a lot to offer. Certainly, people do. Of course they do. But you want to be careful when somebody tells you this is the way to do something. Because it's not the way to do something. It's the way that they think works for them. It might work for them. It might not. Depends on who's talking. What you want to look for is what's right for you. So somebody who says this is the only way to do something is not really someone you want to listen to that much. Everything is a case-by-case basis. Another key thing to look out for here is, I already touched on it a little bit, but almost all information in the public domain comes from kind of copy, repeat, cut and paste. We listen, we learn from each other. There's a book called Quiet by Susan Cain, and she talks about introverts versus extroverts, and she talks about how a lot of extroverts don't really come up with groundbreaking discoveries. Not that none of them do, because extroverts are basically out there on this level connecting to other humans and that sort of field of information that's already established. It's the introverts who go inside, super quiet, kind of shy, but end up going to spirit, end up going to their higher self, end up going to places that most people haven't gone, that bring in the new ideas with the higher frequency. I saw a quote from Tesla earlier today, and he was talking about be alone, be silent. That's where the visions, the creativity, all of this stuff comes from. That doesn't mean don't have friends, be antisocial. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's good to step back and go inside and find your own answers, because otherwise what we're doing is we're just passing around the trauma field of the collective consensus. I see this a lot in the dating and relationship field. There's so much dating information and it's shit. There's so much information on what to do to get a guy, on what to do to attract a relationship, on what to do to get a girl to like you, that is based around working with their trauma. And then it's like, well, if you don't say the right thing, if you don't do the right thing, you're going to lose them. That's not true. Because if you were actually calling in your soul-aligned partner, it wouldn't happen that way. It happens that way because it's coming from the basis of ego and manipulation and trying to work with someone's subconscious to manipulate them to get them to like you when it's not the right, best person for you to begin with. And that's why most of the time things don't work. It's not that you need to learn the games better. You do need to learn masculine and feminine polarity better, yes, in certain ways. But the majority of this information comes from a trauma field. You're basically learning how to manipulate somebody's trauma to get their ego to like you momentarily. And it's crap. And very few people go beyond this. Some do. Of course, some do. But I'm just saying this is very common in any medium. Any medium tends to be tainted with, the copy paste. This is what one person thinks and shares and spreads, and they never healed enough to go beyond to a new level of consciousness, which we're starting to do now. So how do you actually find answers? Well, the more you heal yourself, the more you heal your trauma, the more you heal your wounding, the more you learn how to listen to your own intuitive, authentic voice, the more you begin to heal. Everybody has their own puzzle to solve. Everybody is walking their own path in their own way, and what worked for one person will not necessarily work for you. When you get quiet, when you still your mind, when you learn how to deeply love yourself, in the stillness, you will get the answers that are best for you. And if you go forth with those answers and you fail, maybe what you're trying to do isn't the right thing. Maybe it's not the right person. Maybe it's not the right career. That doesn't mean you give up on it. What it means is you keep practicing listening to that inner voice, because it will tell you what you need to know. And the people that you want to listen to are the people that explain and help you with this. I like human design a lot because human design, it shows how every single person has many similarities, but different particular callings, different purposes, different main energies, different vocations, and it's all arranged in a very specific way. And the idea around it is when you really hone in on your own specific design and live authentically as you, in alignment with your own specific variation of purpose, everything will work out for you. No one can tell you what that is unless they can help you get to that own internal original blueprint. And whether you listen to human design or not, it's important to know that you have your own blueprint. You have your own makeup. You have your own mission. You have your own path. And all you need to do is solve that. So please stop listening to the trauma balls. Stop absorbing what they say. We all did it as children because we didn't know any better. But now it's time to start questioning the information that is coming in. It's time to start questioning all the information. Information about money, information about sex, information about dating. We're here to create a new paradigm. And a lot of the healthy dynamics haven't even been found yet. So step back. Question, find your own ideas, find your own nuances, find your own inspiration. Ask your higher self, how do you do it differently? How do you create a new idea? There's so much repetition out there. It drives me crazy, and I do it too. I mean, it's not like you can reinvent the wheel all the time, but attempt to be unique. Attempt to be brave and bold and to do something different. And whatever you do, just know that if you share your vision with somebody, if you share your dream with someone and they put it down, you don't want to listen to them. That's their trauma. It's not yours. On planet Earth, for eons now, what we've been doing, I don't know eons, but thousands of years, is one traumatized person marries another traumatized person, and out of trauma, they have a child. They didn't look at themselves, they didn't work on themselves, and they project all their trauma, all their neediness, all their wounding, all their lack of spirituality, all their lack of self-love on the child. And then the child grows up a trauma ball, marries another trauma ball, and creates another trauma ball. If you're working on yourself, you're part of the revolution. You're part of the group that is stepping back to clear all of this fucking bullshit and woundedness and to start over and to call in something new. So be very wary. Be very wary of what you listen to, and make it your goal to find your own inner voice and what's best for you. If you're in alignment with yourself, you can't get it wrong. You can't do it wrong. That's the goal. Please let me know what you think. I have a free energy clearing in the description below. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I look very forward to next time. Thank you so much, and peace.